Yeah, this is a lot of fun. Chirag putting this together, the whole team that put this together. I mean, we've done, I don't even know, we'll probably do 50 events this year and minimum. Chirag keeps us pretty busy, and each event is different and unique, and we cover many, many different niches. And today I'm pretty excited to get into Ecomm. I'm excited to get into product. We have some individuals on stage which are going to be a wealth of knowledge, and when I get ready to do an interview or when I get ready to host a panel, like secretly, I'm just trying to get information. Like I'm sitting here thinking about like, wow, I have these rock stars on stage. How do I get info? How do me and Chirag get some free consulting? So that's what we're here to do. And we're going to get some consulting as well for the audience. Just so you know, the way that this is structured is I'm going to get us warmed up. Like I'm going to ask some questions, but this isn't going to be your typical panel where you're just sitting there watching the people on stage the whole time. I'm going to get us started. I'm going to get us going. But then ultimately, we want you to participate too. So this is going to be a large fireside chat, let's say. But as you're listening to the conversation, as you have questions arising, like get ready to raise your hands. I'll give a last question warning and let you know when I'm going to open it up for questions as well. So then after I give that warning, and I want to see those hands come up with the first question, and we're going to have some fun with this. All right. This is a little turny chair. This is a whole lot for me today. I'm in. So we'll start off with, if we can have each one of the panelists just maybe introduce yourselves and just a little bit about your background, history, and the current company that you're working on as well. Let's start there.
Okay, hello. So I'm Bob Mears. Obviously, I've been in business a few years. My background is predominantly in the athletic industry. One of the early founders and former CEO of Reebok during its high growth years with the aerobic shoes and the pump and Shaq and Allen Iverson and all of that. And then most recently with Lululemon, where we were able to take a Canadian company and with a nice little pair of yoga pants and be able to expand it, bring it into the United States, eventually internationally, and both companies we took public. With Reebok, not only do we have Reebok, we did a lot of M&A with Rockport, the Greg Norman chalk line. We bought a VLSA, had about 500 or 600 retail stores. I could go on and on. What I'm doing now is with my family, we wanted to get into the zero waste business. We wanted to figure out if we could take the same attributes that make great athletic product where the function is the fashion and find a product that could be reused, but when you disposed of it in any way, shape, or form, it would literally leave no footprint in a very short period of time and would be not depleting any natural resources. We decided to do a cup and do a series of cups because we saw people trying to, both with government support, take on the single-use water bottle. We saw them trying to take on bags and packaging, but we saw the red Solo cup riding free. And we thought, you know what, let's go after that one. And that's what I'm doing now.
Awesome. Thank you, Bob. All right, Charlie.
Amazing. Thank you so much. My name is Charlie Hanna. My goal is to invest in the next one of Bob's businesses. No, but I'm an investor at Marcy Venture Partners. We are a consumer and culture and positive impact venture capital firm co-founded by Jay-Z, Jay Brown, and Larry Marcus back in 2019. I've been with the fund since inception. We're looking to invest in the best consumer-facing businesses, mostly at that Series A, Series B stage. So businesses between 10 and 50 million of revenue, growing very quickly with profound product market fit and strong customer love. We're across the consumer subsector, across beauty, fashion, health and wellness, food and beverage, all manners of consumer goods and consumer services, but everything has really strong growth, appeal to younger demographics, and positive impact values like inclusivity, accessibility, sustainability, health and wellness, and multiculturalism. We are a majority Black-owned VC, and through a merger that we're about to announce and initiate, we'll be probably the largest Black-owned VC in the country. with about $1 billion under management. You know, as we look towards the future, we look for companies with high repeat purchase rates, with, you know, that are moving culture forward. And we think that through our investments, we can actually create culture with the partners that we're working with and the founders that we have the privilege of backing. So with that, thank you for hosting. Thank you for hosting, and Chirag, thanks for inviting us here.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Alan.
Hey, so Alan Finkelstein again. My background is, went to law school, I have a legal background. After law school, was an executive at a color cosmetics company. Part of what I did there was build out the different departments and different teams. One of the teams was the marketing teams. And at the time, Preston was someone that, my partner now, who I brought on to help with growth. We saw all the value that we were bringing to the company, and we decided, hey, you know what, we can do this for a lot of different brands and companies. So we decided to branch off, started an agency, and now we work in the CPG space. Brands come to us and they say, hey, this is where we're at, this is where we want to go, can you help us? And we do that by running ads. We're a growth marketing agency. We're a meta business partner, we're a TikTok partner agency, and ultimately what that means is we spend a lot of money on the platform and we've helped a lot of brands. And our bread and butter with clients that we work with are, again, 20 to 80 million a year in revenue, and they come to us for growth. So thanks.
Awesome. Thank you. All right. First question for Bob. So, Bob, as I was doing my little research, getting ready for this, is the story goes, or at least what I read, was that you originally maybe read a book, and that was part of the inspiration for this idea behind, maybe not the company, but behind solving the problem of single-use plastic. I guess the first thing I want to ask you is, like, how did you get the idea? Am I off on that, or like, how'd that come up?
Yeah, my daughter, Reagan, my wife's daughter, Reagan, my daughter, Reagan Kelly, gave me a book, William McDonough, excuse me, and it was Cradle to Cradle. And the book was kind of an epiphany because with every business, at the beginning of the year, you sit down and you take a look at how can I run this business better? How do I become more efficient? How do I become more streamlined? Do I have the right people in the right seats? Can I reduce this? Can I accent that, etc.? McDonough said, you shouldn't be looking at reducing waste. You should be looking at eliminating waste and turning it into revenue. And I was at the time, we had just entered Lululemon, and we were offering free hemming. And we loved the free hemming because it would bring somebody back into the store, and 80% of the time they buy something else. Well, we had all of the hem. And I thought, well, what are we doing with that? We're throwing it away. Turned it into a headband. Wow. And now we make headbands. So what I looked at when it came to the business we're in now was, I hear a lot about sustainability, reduce waste, recycle, and it's not getting at the problem. It really isn't. It's kind of like circling the drain. But the real opportunity is, can you in fact find a material that can be reused, that can create literally zero waste in a reasonable amount of time in any environment, and then can you make a product that people can have fun with? And that's what led us to, so the book got me into the sustainability business as a gift, the opportunity to go find that material and create a product that you can go have a beautiful drink with and not leave a footprint when it was all gone. And that's how it is.
And just one follow-up to that one. So lots of different things you could have done. With your experience, whether it was Reebok, Lululemon, you've literally taken companies into, multi-billion-dollar companies in growth. How did you know that this was going to be something that was going to be like your next big idea, something that you were going to spend a significant amount of your time on?
Yeah. Okay. Am I doing it better now?
A little bit closer.
A little closer? Oh, okay, fine. So let me put it this way. Yeah, I could sit on boards.
Yeah.
I could do another version of what I've done.
Yes.
And to be honest with you, it didn't hold any juice. And the question was, how do you keep your mind engaged? How do you give back? How do you create a difference and make a difference when you're not trying to build your resume?
Yeah.
And so consequently, when the idea came that we could, in fact, not make a package that people tore away to get at what they bought, or that they could, make something that would last for a little while, the opportunity to make something that literally hadn't been made before, that carried the juice for me and my wife. So, we said, if we're going to take this bigger risk, we better fund it ourselves because, we're going to lose a lot of friends if we're wrong. So,
Amazing. Charlie, so MVP, Marcy Venture Partners, known for a lot of things: culture, impact investing. You mentioned a little bit in maybe the series that you're investing. I'd be interested to hear a little bit more. So you said A, B early. I'd be interested to hear a little bit more about what goes into your decision when it comes to a founder. A lot of founders in the audience and otherwise, like what kind of things go into, I don't know if I'd use the word vetting, but just making sure that that founder, that company are aligned with your overall investment thesis.
Yeah, that's a great question. So I'll start with providing a little more color on what our investment strategy is, and then we can dive into the founders. So we're writing checks between $5 and $15 million and targeting double-digit percent ownership of companies, so 10 to 20%. These are minority investments. We're investing right at that place before private equity comes in or strategic acquisition happens with these companies. We think there's a lot of value there. These businesses are either profitable or will become profitable on existing cash. Generally, they're growing very quickly, so 50 to 100% growth year over year. They have, strong metrics through and product market fit, as witnessed by a built-in community. Look at something like Lululemon, talk about a community and a virality with the product where people are telling other people about it. People are wearing it in the gym and then they're saying, hey, how do you look that good? Buy Lulu. That's the kind of flywheel and appeal to younger demographics that we look for. And when it comes to the founder, for us, I mentioned product market fit. With the founder, it's about founder market fit. So we were fortunate enough to invest recently in a business called Rebel Stork. Rebel Stork is a marketplace selling post-purchase returned inventory, specifically in baby gear. So I was fortunate enough to have a baby 15 months ago, and my wife's willingness to pay for new baby gear is essentially infinite, right? She buys all this gear, and you use half of it, and then the rest of it just sits in the garage collecting dust. So any of you who has kids, just so I can get a sense from so you know this experience.
You mentioned something about, I'm going to ask this very open-ended because you dropped it, so a possible acquisition, merger, otherwise going to give you scale. What can you tell us that you can say right now that'll take you to that $1 billion?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Again, not putting you in a corner, but...
No, absolutely. This was on Bloomberg a few weeks ago. We were fortunate enough to have the opportunity to merge with a group called Pendulum Capital Partners, Pendulum Holdings, which is founded by Robbie Robinson and Dorita Robinson, who are incredible operators and entrepreneurs that have built an incredible investment practice already with their kind of growth stage VC Pendulum. Very synergistic with Marcy Venture Partners. The new entity will be called Marcy Penn, and I'm excited to share more when I'm able to.
Amazing, thank you. Alan, all right, first question, as I was kind of doing my research on you, I want to know, where does the name come from, the Antidote Group? I love it, just basic. Where did the name come from? Who came up with it?
I think it was a long night at a bar. No, I'm just kidding. It was just storytelling,
Yeah.
and then that's the premise of the name, and I don't remember the origin of it, but it just had to do with storytelling, and it's a lot of the things that the brands we work with do. It tells stories, with their content, with the things they're putting out in the marketplace. So it just worked.
Yeah, I'm in. I like it. I was curious. I'm looking it up. I'm like, oh, this is cool. So, follow up to that. You mentioned working with many large brands and helping them scale. So, invariably, I mean, there's many entrepreneurs, many individuals in this audience that want to scale or that are in the process of scaling. Let's talk about that specific. You know, you have traction, you got market fit, you're kind of there, you're going to the next level. Obviously, every company is going to be a little bit different. What are some mindsets or some things that they should be thinking about as they attempt to enter those next phases?
Sure. Charlie, you said something that was interesting. You talked about being psychotic. I think
number one, be psychotic.
Which was done. Spot on. I think in the world that Preston and I are in, it's all objective. It's numbers. It's data. And sometimes we're showing these numbers to these founders and these shareholders and these decision makers, and it's black and white. But they don't want to see it. They don't want to believe it. They think that we're wrong, so they keep running with what they think is going to work. I think that's fine in a sense, because sometimes you have the will to just push through and make things happen, which is what founders do. But I think areas of opportunity with the companies that we work with there's a lot of siloing, right? There's the art of content and creation and putting products out in the marketplace, and there's the science of what we do, which is the data. A lot of the times, these companies, those departments don't communicate well with each other. They don't understand, okay, well, this content is it's getting this many impressions, this much engagement, and our team, the marketing team, the media buying team, is giving them a different angle, but there's a disconnect. I think huge areas of opportunity would be to bring those departments together and figure out how to work better, how to work more closely, how to communicate and speak each other's languages. That's something that we definitely see a lot of.
All right, last question warning for me. So I'm going to ask one more question for the whole group, and then I want to see some hands come up. If you have some, if I don't see hands come up, I promise you I can ask questions for days, but I don't think that's what you want. I think you want to get your shot at some questions as well for our panel. So my last question, trends. What kind of trends are you guys following right now? Whether it could be technology, marketing, product, whatever you like. What kind of trends are you following?
Environmental. I mean, I take a look at, I've always been drawn to what consumer movement is happening with or without me. And as I look around the world, the environmental wellness and not trying to be almost environmental, but really trying to figure it out. And I think that's where I'm going to stay for the rest of my business.
Love it. Charlie.
I'll piggyback on that for a second, which is to say sustainability and environmental issues. We're an investor in a business called Lomi, L-O-M-I. Lomi is a countertop kitchen composting unit. It turns your food waste into topsoil in 24 hours. So you take, the vegetable cuttings and eggshells, you throw it in this composting unit. 24 hours later, you can throw it in your dirt and grow vegetables with it. There are incredible tailwinds coming with states like California requiring you to compost, and this company's tackling, trash, which is a major issue globally. Another trend that I'm seeing, I think it's really important, is health and wellness, particularly around digital health and personalized health. Giving people the opportunity to test their own blood, to get real-time insights into their health on a daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly basis, and then act on oneself through medication, supplementation, or just changes to diet, exercise, nutrition. All of these things can have actual effects that are measurable in your blood, again, on a very regular basis. And we're seeing, the biggest blockbuster drug of a generation happening today, and this is the same trends. And if anyone is looking at Hims stock recently, or any of these other ones that are offering the GLP-1s, this is going to be a major shift in healthcare for generations to come.
Alan?
I would say brand and AI. So on the brand side, how do you stand out in industries that are mainly competitive and oversaturated? I mean, most industries are, right? So really understanding the avatar of your prospective client. Where do they like to eat? what movies they like to watch, what cafe do they go to get their morning tea or coffee, and then understanding that ecosystem and telling it with the stories that they put out with content. And then with AI, it's personalization, right? It's not new, but I think it's going to advance a lot quicker than it already has. And it's going to go from personalization to maybe there's a COO who doesn't know how much product to order for next season's launch, and it's going to be able to help them integrate that into their day-to-day operations. So, to summarize, I would say brand and AI.
Amazing.